Hi everyone, welcome. It is Easter Sunday, April 17th, 2022, and this is the Morgellons Call of the Week. We're about to start our Q&A section of the call where people can ask questions and give updates on how they're doing, and also we will be reading questions from people that have written in.
Great, thank you, Robin. Let's start. First of all, I'm going to have Mary read some questions, and then we'll open up the phones. But because we're going to be getting into some technical matter in this portion of the call, and perhaps provide recommendations, the FDA requires me to inform everybody that we are not medical doctors, that before you start the King Diet or accept any of our recommendations, you're to thoroughly discuss them with your medical doctor to make sure they do not interfere with any health problems. This is for educational purposes only. The FDA has not evaluated anything that we are saying or talking about on this program. The AMA requires us to inform you that we are not trained to diagnose, cure, treat, or mitigate any disease or skin disorder. That what we're allowed to do is to educate you how to use the King Diet for your advantage, how to clean your skin, how to clean the organisms out of your environment, and how to use the targeted supplements to build health and immune functioning. That's what we're allowed to do. Okay, Mary, you have a question? You can read one of those questions?
Yes. Richard, I am so grateful for you and your website. My life was a complete day and nightmare. I thought I was going to go completely crazy. I have purchased some of your products, but not as much as I wanted due to unemployment. But I am recently employed and will continue to purchase. I am not out of the woods, but so much better, and I can sleep without clawing myself. I have many scars from picking and itching. I wear long sleeves and long pants everywhere I go due to embarrassment. The sores are finally drying out and healing, but leaving scars. I, too, went to doctors and was told basically that I am delusional. Thanks again, Mona.
Yes, this, again, if you're in this program and haven't gone to a doctor and been told that you were delusional, you were very lucky. It happens to all of us. And Mona is sharing that, hey, she started a program and there's results already, and that's great. There wasn't really a question there, but I'm glad, it's a testimony to get things rolling. So you have another question? Is there a question?
Yeah. This one is from Jan, and it says, after taking the 2 dog pills, I have new problems. I woke up 2 weeks ago, and I had mites embedded under my upper arms. I wash many times a day with debriding soap, and nothing makes it better. It is very painful. I now have red bumps on each side of my neck, and I had white foam coming from 2 teeth that ate my gums like acid. The next morning, my lips had the white foam on them, and it burned like acid, eating my skin. My bottom lip is constantly burning and very cut up and swollen. I was in stage 2 for many weeks before the dog medications. No itching, no new bites. I have stayed on the diet, and I felt the diet would pull me out of this, but no, it's getting worse. My body is on fire. This is unbearable. My nerves are shattered, and I don't know what to do.
That is a dilemma there. There's a lot of information we do not know. I wrote back and asked her what medications that she has gone on, where she got them. I haven't heard back from her, but these are things that sometimes can happen, and it's important for us to know all the details. There are some times where you get worse before you get better, but there's a lot of things happening there. There could be even a question about maybe making a mistake diet in her diary, in her diet that she hasn't caught up with yet. There could be a lot of problems. So this is sometimes what we call, it's either a backslide and we don't know enough yet to address it, or it could be progress and that these things are coming out. But we don't know what this medication, these 2 pet meds that she talks about, where she got them or exactly what they are. So I'm waiting for more information from her in order to hopefully address it more effectively. So sometimes we don't have all the answers when people write in because there's not enough information provided. So when you do write in a question, please do provide as much information as possible. I know that she said she's on the diet. She got into stage 2, which is important. And so it's not as simple as saying, well, make the diet work. She's made the diet work. She may have made a big mistake in stage 2 that has contributed to all this. So, okay. Do you have any comments on that, Robin?
No, but I mean, I thought it was glaring that they had left out the fact that they haven't read the book and done the diet.
Well, she did. She's in stage 2, she said.
Oh, okay. I misheard then. Sorry.
Yeah, she got to stage 2. So the diet is not a question because she got that far, and then all of a sudden, after she started these 2 pet medications, which is a big unknown. You know,
okay. I misunderstood.
Don't know what they are. We don't know. So, yeah. So when you do write in a question, please don't assume that I know things that you don't write about. You need to be very specific. And if I write back, please answer me so I can address the issue more effectively. Okay. We have anybody open up anybody's line?
I did want to just say that I'm pretty new to this. I thought that I had Morgellons from my own self-diagnostic process about 10 months ago, and then I decided I didn't because when I looked at photographs, I didn't have the huge gaping wounds. And about 4 or 5 months went by, and then things started to happen that lined up with the Morgellons. So now I'm pretty positive I do have it, and I've tried all different kinds of protocols, and then I happened upon Richard and his book, and so I have been corresponding a little bit with Richard. I haven't gone fully on the diet, but what I did notice is that I'm probably 3/4 already before even reading about the diet. I'm already 3/4 there because of the way I eat.
Right.
And I went through every single thing on the checklist, and at least 3/4 of it I'm already doing. And I think that may account for the fact that I'm not fully into the horrific stages of this Morgellons. I didn't think that I was going to be, and then I started getting the itching. I had quite a few days of itching from head to toe. I'm definitely feeling the crawling and the biting. And you tell people about biting, and they go, they don't bite, even though they have no clue what they're talking about. It does feel like biting. And my experience has been when I feel that, I take a white cotton pad with some witch hazel and I wipe right where I feel it, and they're all over the cotton pad. So whenever I feel those sensations, I wipe, and they're all over it. And I find that after a shower or a bath, that's when they come out. You're not washing them away. They come out. And that's when I wipe and get rid of them. That's how I get rid of them. But
okay. Your name was Rajesh?
Raji.
Raji. Okay. Yes. Yes. Mary, you have a note there to read from her?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So we'll read what you wrote into and address both. Okay. Thank you. Go ahead, Mary.
Yep. Are mites part of Morgellons because these black specks come out on my skin with the fibers? When I start to itch and wipe them off, the cotton pad is covered with both.
Okay, let's stop at that point, and I'll address that issue. Mites are not a part of Morgellons, although mites can be a cofactor, and perhaps they can be the vector that brings Morgellons to you, or since they are so tiny and so small, mites might just be a hijacker on some filaments or fibers that may have infected you. So, but mites are not Morgellons. Now, there is a question in the questionnaire, and that is, do you see black specks or find black specks in your bedding and clothing? And many people say yes. Now, those black specks can be dead mites, or if you look at them in a scope, it doesn't have to be a very high-powered scope, they can be tiny compressed filaments, in which case they're not mites. They are Morgellons. So it doesn't expand the protocol. There's they are a part of Morgellons and dealt with in the basic protocol. So the black specks can go either way, and the only way you can really determine whether it is a mite, a dead mite, or an indication Morgellons is to look at it very closely under some kind of magnification to see if it's tightly wound filaments. Okay, continue with what she wrote.
I want to, if possible, get a coach. How do I do that?
What was that?
I want to, if possible, get a coach.
Oh,
how do I do that?
All right. After we stop the recording today, we'll be giving out the numbers for the different coaches. Okay. And the next, what else did she write?
Did you read what I wrote to you about the diet and how close I am to what you are stating as the king diet already with how I eat?
Well, it doesn't matter how close you are. If you're one thing off, you're not on the diet. Now, the fact that you are not really dramatically affected by Morgellons doesn't mean that you're close to being right on the diet. Not everybody is affected differently by Morgellons. Some people minimally, some people massively. And only when you get perfect on the diet, when you make the diet work, then there are dramatic results. For instance, you could be 99% on the diet thinking that Tic Tac breath mints are okay to have. You're not on the diet. You're just wasting your time. You're not even close to being on the diet. You get rid of the Tic Tac breath mints and you could well be on the diet. But it doesn't necessarily guarantee that you made the diet work, because making the diet work is the next thing. First is to eat everything that is on the diet and go through the do not eat list and make sure that there's nothing on that do not eat list that is in any of the things that you're eating or any of the ingredients. Soy, for instance, has over 50 different ways it shows up as the ingredients in canned and packaged foods. So you need any canned or packaged foods that you consume, you need to look at that list of ingredients and make sure that soy is not there in any way, shape, or form, or lecithin. Nothing, okay? So it is very precise. There's no wavering. There's no almost on the diet. There's no, I'm on the, what is that famous diet? I'm the, whatever, I'm on the, yeah, the keto diet. I don't care. Keto diet lets you have olive oil. Bad news, okay? There's no other diet that restricts you from having olive oil. This one does, okay? So it's this or nothing, and then even if you're eating exactly as it is, you still got to make it work. And that's where it's important to keep a diary, because while a diet is 100% on for 95% of us, 5% of us have idiosyncrasies in the beginning. One lady cannot have any oil at all. I don't know why. No oil, no butter, no rice bran oil, no animal fat. I have no idea why. Some people can't have any rice in the beginning, or any spelt in the beginning, or any coffee, or even eggs in the beginning. So you got to keep a diary and make sure you notice what you react to and what you don't. And then we've done, I think we did this topic just last week on the diet. So you need to listen, watch those videos, because we have other things. You boost glutathione to help the diet kick in. We have the Parasite Stop Herbal formula to help the diet kick in. There are certain medications that are known to be that reduce dopamine uptake in the brain that help the diet kick in. And by the way, that is what the Parasite Stop Herbal formula does. So it's important to make that diet work. Okay, is there any more to her question or comments?
Yes, there are two more parts.
About supplements. I said some supplements are not compatible with the diet. All right.
Yes.
Again, we're looking at ingredients. So every supplement you have already before you start this program, you're safe to put them away. Put them up in the back shelf somewhere, and maybe 6 months from now they're okay. Because I'll bet you if we go through the ingredients list on all of them, you'll find that there are some ingredients that are on the do not eat list. For instance, the multiple vitamin that we use. I challenge anybody to find any other multiple vitamin created on this universe that is compatible with a diet. There just aren't any. They all have something in it. It could be maltodextrin, for instance. That's a big thing that shows up. They use it as a decaking ingredient to keep it from caking up when it goes into your stomach and the capsule dissolves. So you need to look at the ingredients. So the supplements that we have in the store have been researched, time tested, and are completely and totally compatible with the diet. You can rest assured that anything that we have is compatible with the diet. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there. And if there is one that isn't compatible with the diet, when you read it, the description of it, it will tell you that it may not be compatible, or you shouldn't use it until stage 2. Okay. Okay, what else?
Next, I see you are purchasing tons of products on your website. This concerns me. As I told you, I am a senior citizen who is barely getting by on a small amount of Social Security, no other income. I've already run up a credit card on the things I have purchased to try and get rid of this horrific nightmare. I don't want to go further into debt, as I have no way to pay it off without accruing a great deal of interest and years of debt. This is why I asked you if I could barter with you somehow. I don't want a free ride, however, I do need to ask for help with this. I said I would help with anything. Any suggestions on how to deal with this problem?
Well, this is we have the answer to getting your life back, but we don't have the answer for the financial crisis that it brings to people. There are people who have no home, who are living out of their car, or living in a tent somewhere, or on the street corner somewhere. We don't have the answer to that. But what I do know from my personal experience is that to get your life back, you simply need to make the diet work. Make the diet work. And you don't need to buy anything. You don't need to, it's great to build health and immune functioning. It's great to take multiple vitamins. Sometimes, if money is tight and you can do do the basic package or something, and instead of taking the multiple vitamin every day, take it every other day or every third day. So stretch it out. So something is better than nothing. But you don't need anything other than to make the diet work and disinfect your environment. And that can often be done with spraying ammonia, dusting diatomaceous earth. So there is really, the nature's gift is phenomenal. That's why I called it it's nature's gift, because it is a gift from nature. It's made from renewable plant sources, corn extracts, rice, oats, the natural alcohols, all from nature, converted into something that actually works on your body. But I got my life back way before I knew about anything about nature's gift. I took hot scalding baths, used Epsom salts or borax or something in the bath, and got my life back. So you can get your life back without having to spend any money other than basic disinfectants that you can get from your store, from the grocery store. Okay. Now, for those who do have financial difficulties, and for those who are either members of the armed services or veterans, we do have a discount store that you can write to me about it and apply for it, and there is a discount not on all of our products, but on some of the basic essential products like the debriding soap. You can save substantially once you're approved for the discount store.
A simple one from Sylvia. Do you know of a doctor who will order blood tests or skin grafts in the Houston area?
Well, we are not a doctor's referral center. In fact, if you went to all the doctors in the United States, I mean, we've had people who have been to 40 doctors and gotten nowhere. So why would I send you to a doctor when I don't know of any? In Chapter 6 are a list of several doctors that are recommended by the Charles Holman Association and some other doctors. And bottom line is, dealing with Morgellons, they treat it as Lyme disease. So look up one of those doctors, hopefully find one close to you, and schedule an appointment. That's what you should do. Schedule an appointment. Now, how soon will you get that appointment? Robin, do you have an idea when you might get to see one of these doctors? How long will it be if you schedule it tomorrow?
Well, when I had chronic Lyme, I was on a waiting list for 2 years to see a Lyme doctor.
2 years? Wow.
I was in bed the whole time. It was awful.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think you could probably get an appointment within maybe 6 to 7 months with one of these doctors. All right. Now, let me ask you, what the heck are you going to do between now and then?
Well, if you read your book, it'll make a big difference.
Yeah. You get started on the program.
Right.
And by gosh, within 3 months, you may find that you don't need that appointment.
Doctor, right.
Yeah, you make that diet work. You disinfect your surroundings. You get your life going, and who knows? But call them, make the appointment, please do that. All right, and then read the book, join in the program, and see what can happen for you. Okay, next question.
I am seeing lint-like specks. They are definitely not mites. How does this expand the protocol, Evelyn?
Okay. Yes, I kind of addressed that one before. The question is these black dots, they're not mites. They are actually wound up tight, compressed filaments, and it's an indication of Morgellons. So it doesn't expand the protocol at all because the protocol is about Morgellons and other skin parasites. Okay, do we have Therese yet or somebody else?
This isn't a question, but I think it's really important to read it. It says, so very grateful for all you are doing. It gives me hope. Blessings to you and your family. Sincerely, Johnny. Johnny?
Right. Thank you. Yes. People who get into this program, even a short period of time, they're grateful, even for having a place to come. Hello. Hi.
Okay, so this is Therese. Sorry, I don't know what happened this week. I never had trouble being heard, but finally we worked it out. Sorry to interrupt you, Richard.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
You work with the airlines? Is this the right Therese?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. You're the flight attendant. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt your sentence there. Chris and I, we were texting back and forth trying to get me heard, so we finally worked it out. So here I am. Thank you.
Okay.
Could I proceed with my questions, or do you want me to wait?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. So let's see. I will successfully tell you that, successful news rather, that I'm on, I guess, almost week 3 of the stage 1, and I'm doing pretty well. I mean, like I said before, almost immediately I noticed less. It's almost like a complete halting of the nighttime itching and biting, and just that stopped almost immediately. So it's kind of maintaining. And then the baths that I do, I'm seeing less and less stuff on the sides of the bathtub afterwards. And what I would see would be, and everybody has it different, like little squiggly, they look almost like tiny microscopic, same shaped little silver yarn pieces, if you will, or polyester. It's hard to say what they are. Who knows what this is, but the abundance of that has definitely decreased. So that's good. But I always see it on my face, which is going to bring me to part one of my question. So for work on the airplanes, we are still having to wear those dreaded masks. Of course, when we needed to, that's great, but now that people are vaccinated, I don't know why we're doing it. Well, I've been wearing the disposable ones, and because we like to change them throughout the day, because it's like 14-hour days in a metal tube with radiation and all that good stuff. So we change them, and we just get a new disposable one. I want to say that in retrospect, most of my facial issues have started since using these masks. And with the magnifying mirror, I'm able to, not able to, but I do see, the cotton filaments coming out. And, you told us not to harp too much on what we're seeing, so I'm trying to be respectful of that. But I wondered what your thoughts are on this crazy theory. Again, everything's crazy, but we're describing it. The nano parts that might be in these stupid disposable masks, because it's, when I wear them, I'm just going crazy with itchiness in my nose, my chin, and my chin seems to have any of the lesions. If I get lesions at all, it's always on my chin, and then with the filaments coming out.
What I recommend is that we have in the store a 2-ounce bottle of a spray that is scented with lavender, and it's there for a mask cleaner. So spray your mask with that.
Okay.
Just like if you wear clothes that are tight, you'll get more activity because they feel pressure on them. And if you put a mask on and you have them in your nose or on your face, they're going to get much more active because the mask is inhibiting them.
Right.
It has nothing to do with nanobots or anything else.
So clean the mask with the spray cleaner with lavender scent. Let it sit out a few minutes, because if you put it all right away, you're going to have a lot of lavender that you're going to be breathing. Have with you some Super MSM gel or maybe Nature's Gift skin lotion, and apply that to your skin when you put the mask on, and maybe every couple of hours reapply the skin lotion and the Super MSM gel to get your face into really good shape. All right, so
I will do that. That's wonderful. Thank you. Could I quickly ask you just one other issue? It's concerning my eyes, and I'll stop there because I'm sure there's other people that need you. I just for the longest time now, I have had such eye issues, and once in a while, when I can get a credit card paid down, I'm able to go see this guy that does muscle testing. He's very old school. I think you'd like him. And he does the Reich machine, which I read about in your book, that is acceptable. So he has a couple different ones, but he's always detected Lyme in my eye, and, he does the whole gamut, though, the whole system. And, well, lately it's been so acute. I've just been getting these literally stabbing, like a little baby knife coming from behind, stabbing my eyeballs and or the corners of my eyes, and they're constantly red and just pouring out water all the time. But it's I was last week I tested positive, if you approve of this, by the muscle tester, with having roundworm in my eye. I don't know what to do. I have not taken any ever. I've never been brave enough to try any of these anti-parasitics out there. I'm thinking I better at least start with your product, the Parasitic Cleanse. I haven't purchased it yet, but I thought you could give me your thoughts. My eyesight is just diminished, and I've had some pretty terrifying episodes as well, where I didn't know if it was like retinal detachment, but it's always so painful in these bites, so I know there's some protozoa going on in there.
You're saying they found a nematode in your eye?
They call it roundworm.
All right. Okay, then you want to look into fenbenzidol through the website shopformorgellons.com, number 4, FOR, fenbenzidol. It's also good to do lufeneron, just to take care of any possible fungal issues as well. But that's where I'd start. Now, there in Chapter 6 is several things you can do about your eyes, eye wash. You can get some saline water or just and put a drop of Nature's Gift in it and wash your eyes with that frequently. Starting.
Oh, I can put. I can actually add the debriding soap with the saline?
A drop or two.
Okay.
Yeah. A drop or two. Okay. And wash your eyes that way. There are a couple of prescription medications listed in Chapter 6 as well that you can get. I don't remember offhand what they are. So Chapter 6 has about maybe 6 different things. We have colloidal silver in the store. 10 or 12 parts per million, I forget what it is. It's the equivalent to sovereign silver. You can use that in an eye wash too, or you can put some few drops into your eyes as well. So there are several things. Yes.
Okay. And then for the nose, the same thing. Can we do the same kind of thing for the nose? Okay.
The nose, you can do the drops in their nose. Now, I think the best thing to do, I've never done it, is the Nuvage device that you can purchase that circulates saline water through the nose in one nostril and out the other, cleans out the sinuses. Again, you can put a drop or two of Nature's Gift in it as well and circulate. So there are things you can do to clean the nose and the sinuses and the eyes and eardrops.
Okay, I didn't know that we could put I thought that once I read or heard that we want to be careful not to get that soap in our eyes, but I must have misunderstood.
No, Nature's Gift is fine. You just don't want it too concentrated because it could burn. You don't want to burn your eyes.
Lastly, and I promise it's my last one. When I have to read more, but I have 14-hour days. I'm just so tired and my eyes are so poor, but I will read when I get more rest. When can I transition to stage 2? Is that a loaded question, or do you want me to keep figuring that out? Because I feel like I could transition.
After you get your eyes cleared up and your nasal passage is cleared up and you are free of itching and biting, then you can start experimenting, adding maybe a few walnuts to your diet, half a banana, something like that. Add the foods one by one. Don't go crazy and add them at once. Keep a diary. Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Wonderful. I appreciate all your answers. Thank you, Richard.
Sure. Are you using the Parasite Stop Herbal formula?
No, I wanted to ask. So now that you're asking, I'm almost afraid to do Fenbin. Just 'cause I've never taken anything, and I'm a person that was diagnosed with lupus, and I've never taken any of those drugs. I'm all natural, so I'm a little scared to do those drugs. Could I start with your Parasite cleanse before doing Fenbin, or should I just go for it and start Fenbin?
Well, our Parasite approach is number one. Using a diatomaceous earth, starting with a teaspoon and a glass of water or a glass of coffee between meals. You can add in the baking soda as well to help alkalize your system. You can take it with our ionic mineral water. You can put, so you can use mineralized water with baking soda and diatomaceous earth. This is basically for intestinal parasites. It does get into the bloodstream, but I don't think it's going to do much with nematodes in your eyes. You can consume our mouthwash. It's like liquid charcoal, but it's in liquid form. That will also get into your bloodstream, but again, I don't know if it's going to do much for your eyes. I think the best thing would be the fenbenzidol, which is targeted for nematodes. It's according to Dr. Luna, it's the equivalent of human-grade albendazole. So that, and maybe even ivermectin, but I wouldn't use ivermectin by itself, and I wouldn't use ivermectin long-term. Only a couple of they're on their website. They have recommendations as to how to take these medications. And of course, I mean, everybody is potentially sensitive to something, but the interesting thing is that these medications generally people aren't that sensitive to it. It's not like many of the medications that you see listed for humans on the TV, where it says, well, if you're depressed and have suicidal thoughts, you know, you might be taking this. I mean, you see that with so many medications for human consumption that they have on the internet. So these medications are pretty safe.
Okay. I actually have some. A friend of mine gave me hers, but I don't know. Maybe I should just be safer and get it from your website.
You can get these medications on Amazon. You can go to Tractor Supply, but you don't know what the quality is. The one thing that we do know is Dr. Luna has a clinic in Mexico that he treats cancer patients with, and he uses these medications in the treatment of his patients. So he's not using some horse medication to treat them.
Okay, sounds good. And so then I can just deduce that you just assume I go for that rather than get your Parasite cleanse. I mean, that could be added bonus for other things, but that's not going to tackle the eyes.
If you can do all three, that's good. You do the diatomaceous earth, you do the mouthwash, it's good. Many people with Morgellons have mouth issues, biofilm, all this kind of stuff, and helps clean the mouth and keep the mouth clean. And then, of course, you swallow it and helps with the digestive system as well. So if you can do all three, that's great. But please stay away from dewormers like black walnut hull and wormwood, because most of us are dealing with columbella, and they love that stuff. It just makes them thrive.
I think you explained the confusion between black walnut and then eating regular walnuts. They're totally two different entities, right?
Right.
Because apparently you've got walnut on your menu there, so I'm like, can we have that?
Walnuts are a superfood, but the hulls that they come in black walnut hulls are used as an anti-parasitic. It's phenomenal, but unfortunately, many of the parasites that we have enjoy them. So the walnut itself is fine.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, it's been a world of information. I'm so grateful that you guys even had this call on Easter Sunday. I wasn't expecting it, so thank you.
We're here every Sunday. We know that Easter is a lonely time for many of us. We don't because we're not into family gatherings and having people come over or going over to people's houses, because we may be contagious, as we discussed in the first portion of the program.
Yeah, and it just it affects the mood, doesn't it? Like people, that's another issue. I think, I don't know if I'm the only one, but you really can. I guess it could be a dopamine thing. I have to fake it till I make it, just because my career. I have no choice. I'm not allowed to wallow. I've got to fake it. But my real self is suffering mentally a lot, and I guess it's probably good that I have to be accountable in a way. But yeah, holidays pretty much suck, to be very blunt.
Well, I've never been a holiday person much anyway, but so.
Yeah.
Okay, Teresa, thank you. Keep coming back. We're here to support you. Yes, Robin.
Also, I just wanted to say, if you go the route of either putting a drop of Nature's Gift in a saline solution or the colloidal silver, you want to be very aggressive, and you want to do it every 15 or 20 minutes, and it's going to take
for the eyes?
days. Yeah.
So cleaning the eye.
An eye wash glass and rinse your eyes every 20 minutes.
Right.
Oh, I'm doing it right now. I have an eye wash that I got at CVS, and I've been doing that 3 times a day at least. So I'll just start adding one tiny drop of.
But 3 times a day.
Or 100% colloidal silver. That you don't dilute.
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
3 times a day is just touching it. You want to be far.
That won't do anything. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm so glad you guys know everything that we go through. It's like you've been there, done that. Thank you.
We have.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Okay, Mary, you got another question?
Can you please explain? Because I do not have your book as of yet. There's two things happening with Morgellons. They're saying some people say this is not a fungus. Other people are saying this is a polymer from chemtrails, and it's all over the place. So what exactly, at this point, do we even know what it really is?
Well, I know we don't. There's a lot of speculation, and it is not a fungus. Now, that's not to say that 90% of the people who are dealing with Morgellons also have fungal issues. It is not Lyme disease, but it's not to say that 90% of the people dealing with Morgellons also are dealing with Lyme disease. It is not an internal intestinal parasite, but it's not to say that 100% of us are dealing with intestinal parasites as well. It is not EMF, but it's not to say that 50% of us are also dealing with EMF issues. These are all cofactors. Morgellons, a disease by itself, is pretty easy to take care of. It's the antidote is said to be simply more boron and alkalizing your system. And the recommended approach of alkalizing your system is consuming apple cider vinegar, the organic. However, Columbola love apple cider vinegar, so apple cider vinegar doesn't work for us in alkalizing our system. So this is why we have our ionic minerals that will raise the pH of your water to 10.5. This is why we have they suggest to take baking soda between meals. That will also contribute to alkalizing your system. So what Morgellons is filaments and fibers comprised of keratin and collagen. The theory is that the chemtrails are part of an experiment by HARP, H-A-R-P-E, gets into AI intelligence. And we don't know exactly why. The cloud seeding goes way back into the 50s to try to control the weather, and more recently it's gotten into artificial intelligence somehow by distributing these particles that we breathe in, and the theory is that it is an experiment on humankind, in which case, if this is what's happening, it really is. If you go to Charles Holman Association website, they have a whole page about it. There's a video that if you complete the questionnaire and I send it back, I'll give you the reference to the video. It's titled "What They Don't Want You to Know." It's an interview with one of these people who were in charge of the HARP program several years ago. So you decide what it is. But the theory there is we breathe them in, we cough them up, they get into our stomach, and for most people they don't affect us badly, but for some of us there are modifications that go on which become nanobots, and somehow Morgellons comes out of that mess, but I don't know. So bottom line is, we don't care what it is. What we care about is how to deal with it, what to do to get your life back. That's what we care about. Where it came from, outer space or chemtrails or I don't care. Doesn't matter, Okay.
Is there a reason why it likes the pores of the nose and the scalp? That's where I have it.
Well, it focuses on everybody differently. It depends on how long you've had it, some people, there are no two people in the universe that have Morgellons with exactly the same symptoms. Some people have large filaments and fibers, some don't. Some are microscopic, they're different colors. Some people have black goo, some don't. Some people have white goo, some don't. Some people, it gets in their mouth and destroys their mouth and their teeth. Many people it doesn't. It gets into different organs of your body. It gets into the sinuses for some people. It gets into the ear for other people. It can affect your brain. It can affect your thinking. If you look at the appendix that come with the book, that is not published with the book, but it's there, it gets into psychiatric issues. People become bipolar, or it accentuates the ability, the chance of you becoming bipolar, paranoia. It shows up in different psychiatric manifestations that we don't like. So it affects everybody differently in various aspects, but no two people exactly the same.
Okay, I have two more questions. Thank you so much. Borax. Can I take a tiny amount of borax instead of boron?
Well, borax is basically something taken out of the ground that, yeah, you can take borax, but you don't. The thing is, the answer is 30 milligrams a day. So I don't know how much of a pinch of borax you would want to take to get 30 milligrams a day. And you don't want to start at 30 milligrams a day. You'd want to start maybe at 9 or 12 milligrams a day and work up to 30 milligrams a day. So the tablet form comes in 3 milligram little tablets. So you take 3 of them a day to start with. You can space them out during the day, not take them all at once, and work up to 30 milligrams a day. With the pinches, I don't know how you're going to control that.
Okay, thank you. And the next question is, I think these things are conscious. Like they know that you're on them. They can. Yes. I was going to take my second picture and it disappeared. And I've had this experience where they know what you're doing. It's bizarre.
I agree with you. In the very beginning, when I was first suffering, I mean, they seem to have an intelligence, because everything I ever tried, whether it came from the pharmacy or whether it was prescription from a doctor, worked for 3 or 4 days, and then it didn't work anymore. So I figured these things adapt. They figure it out. Well, anyway, whether they do or not doesn't matter anymore. Once you make the diet kick in and do the protocol, you're going to get your life back. There's no option for any other results.
All viruses and bacteria adapt and change. It's part of their nature. It doesn't mean they're intelligent. Just saying. Yeah,
they morph. They, everything can do that. But the bottom line is what we do works, and they don't seem to adapt to it. Although sometimes there's no cure. So Robin mentioned in the beginning that she's gotten her life back several times. So that means that she got rid of them and then got reinfected. We can always get reinfected. Like, how did you get reinfected, Robin? Share quickly. You took a box from where?
Well, when I first, I had bed bugs, fleas, springtails, mites, and they all brought Morgellons into my home. And I didn't know what I had initially, and I just put everything in plastic bags, thinking, after a couple of years they'd be fine. And I didn't disinfect anything. And one Christmas I opened a box of Christmas ornaments that hadn't been disinfected and reinfected the whole house.
It became Pandora's box. So
yeah.
We can get reinfected at any time. There's no cure. But the idea is to catch it quick, do the protocol, and get your life back again. Personally, over 25 years, I've been probably reinfected maybe a dozen times. Out of the 25 years, it may have taken 2 years, all right? And the second time I was reinfected was more difficult than it seemed to be the first time. I don't know if that's my imagination or what, but it seems that sometimes the organisms can be more resistant, more difficult to deal with. But guess what? There's nothing that beats what we have.
Yes, I had a question on the that NITENPYRAM. I don't know how you pronounce it. Mite killer.
Yes.
Okay. I got some of that from Dr. Luna and the Lathineron, I guess you call it.
Right.
And has it been successful that people have taken it? Because I'm just starting to take it.
Well, we wouldn't be suggesting it. There is nothing that we suggest that, I wouldn't suggest something or recommend something if it hasn't been effective for several people. For instance, the Parasite Stop Herbal formula. It was developed over a year ago. Now, personally, I never had an opportunity or a need to utilize it, all right? So I was suggesting it. Nah, try it out. It's supposed to be, instead of using the medications like borax, what are some of the others? Abilify. This is supposed to do the same thing. But I really didn't know personally, but I was recommending it. We didn't get much feedback from anybody, Nobody wrote in and said, hey, wow, this thing really works. But, people were buying 5 bottles at a time. So that was saying something, And then like I said, I got reinfected about maybe 3 months ago by eating too many damn strawberries, over and over, by abusing my diet. And before I knew it, it got a little out of hand. And I thought, well, heck, why not use the Parasite Stop formula? Man, it works like it's amazing. Yeah, at least for me. Robin, what's your experience? You used the Parasite Stop formula. What's your experience?
It's been tremendously helpful dealing with my environment because I get attacked every time I dig into the environment. But with the Parasite Stop, they may get on me, but they can't do much.
They don't care that much for you. You're not so appetizing anymore for some reason.
Right.
Yeah. So, we don't know how this works. So yes, people have used it. I've either used it or gotten a lot of feedback that says it works. And this Parasite Stop herbal formula is just another example of us stepping one step ahead of the organisms.
I do.
Okay, now you can.
Wait. Can I interrupt for 1 second? I do want to say about your question and so Parasite Stop. Also, it says to build gradually to 2 pills 3 times a day with food, and it's really important to do that. I've discovered that there's something in it that I'm allergic to. I've never been able to go to the full dose, but it's still been really helpful. In addition, I want to say that the nitin pyram and the lufeneron have also been very helpful, and more things may come out of your skin initially when you take them together, but they will help you get better quicker.
Yes, thank you. There is an update. There is an update on the blog post where this lady shared that she started the lufeneron, and right after she started the lufeneron, she had all kinds of breakouts on her face, like acne-like breakouts. And this went for 1 month. And, turned out that this was just her body getting rid of the organisms because of the intake of the lufeneron. And after a month, all of the stuff dried up and stopped. And so some people actually write me and say lufeneron cured me of Morgellons. Wrong. No. Lufeneron helped get rid of the fungal issues, the cofactor, which makes Morgellons easy to get rid of. All right? Some people write and say, well, nitin pyram got rid of, Morgellons. No. Nitin pyram got rid of the mites, the cofactor that kept progress from happening with Morgellons. So it's about dealing with the cofactors, getting them out.
Also, okay. I do want to say the Morgellons Protocol for lufeneron is 1 pill every day with 10 grams of fat for 90 days. And it's a different protocol than their protocol for fungus. It breaks down the ectoskeleton of the parasites. And the nitin pyram does kill mites in your body. They recommend that you try it once every 3 days, but if that does nothing, which did nothing for me, I went to every day, and it was a huge difference.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So wow.
I in fact, I'm still taking both of them every day, and it's like night and day.
So you need to.
Wow.
And yes. I talked to them. I called them, and they said, yeah, normally most people don't need to do that, but if you're seeing that kind of difference, then keep on.
Right.
Well, I know Nancy has been real helpful. They're based in Austin, Texas, and just up the road from me, about 63 miles. And she was telling me, because I questioned that, because I said, well, if you say anything to a regular doctor, of course, they're going to tell you, what, are you nuts? You can't take that. That's for animals. That's not for humans. And she says, oh, yeah, she says, well, she says, we have hundreds of people that take that. Now, this Parasite Stop pill, do you have that in your store?
Yes, it's in the store. Parasite Stops Herbal Formula. So it's in the supplement tab.
Okay, and one last question I've got is I'm a Vietnam veteran. I didn't know that you gave a veteran discount. So do I need to call in and talk to Chris on Monday to get something set up, or?
Send me an email and I will qualify you for it.
Okay, all righty. I will do that then. That's all I had today.
All right. Thank you for your service, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. All right. Here's a question that came in. What is your opinion of the Charles E. Hallman Foundation? From Margaret. All right. You know that for those of you who may not be familiar, there is an organization called the Charles Hallman Association. It was originally, I guess, founded by Mary Lato, who was the first person to report Morgellons and start talking about it. She actually named it Morgellons. Her research goes back to Dr. Baum back in the 1600s. Her son had these filaments and fibers growing from his body, and so she did her research, and Thomas Baum in the 1600s had reported similar thing, and that was her. We all, when we encounter these things, we all go this approach of trying to figure out what it is, where it comes from, and this is where her research led her. I think her husband is a microbiologist, trained technically in that area. And ultimately, she's gone into meeting people and talking with people, and the Charles Hallman Association was one of the organizations that originally popped up that is linked with physicians and doctors and professional, rather than getting into things that are like out in left field, or some of the things that you're going to find on the Morgellons groups as being posted as evil, demonic, and all this kind of stuff. I'm not saying that Morgellons isn't evil or demonic. COVID is as well. Okay, but let's not get into that kind of crazy stuff. So the Morgellons, the Charles Hallman Association, and they do have a page on there about chemtrails, is more into research and some of the researchers that they produce the report their research on their site are the Dr. Strickler and Marianne Middleveen, who's from Canada. Her specialty is veterinarian science, and they have done a lot of pilot studies. They are basically ivory tower people. All right. My first doctor I worked with in terms of these parasites was the late Dr. Harvey, who was on the board of directors of the Morgellons of this foundation, and I learned a lot from him, and subsequently learned about the association with Lyme disease and so forth, and got tested and found that I also had Lyme disease way back then as well. But over the years, there's a difference. They recently produced a video that's out there. What the heck is it called? I forget the name of the video they produced. Skin Deep. All right, and there's whenever you see these documentaries on TV, that it's always the same approach. They interview some people who have been suffering from this for years, and they show the rashes and the non-healing lesions and all the hell they go through, and they bring up the microscopy and the connection with Lyme disease, and it's like, okay, all this fluff and the furry about all this stuff and the ivory tower approach, and then it's like you jump off a cliff. There's nothing else other than treat it like Lyme disease and antibiotics. That's it. That's you jump off that cliff. That's it. Okay. So this is an important question. What is my take on? Well, I'm not really here to evaluate them. All right, but there are significant differences. It's like the Charles Holman Association people and what I do are on different planets. All right. They claim, number one, that Morgellons is not contagious. All right. Now, we had a guest on, I don't know, 6 months ago or a year ago or whatever, and his point, he's not associated with the Charles Holman Association, but he is a proponent of the association, and he used the word infectious. All right. Well, I don't care whether you're using contagious or infectious. If you're in touch with another person who is dealing with Morgellons, you're going to have the possibility of acquiring the organism and being infected by it. Whether it's 1 person out of 5 or 1 out of 200, I don't know the statistics. But I do know it's infectious and contagious, and it could be contagious to your granddaughter or to your another family member. Now, we've had many people share. So there's one big difference, all right? They say it's not, we say it is. They have a yearly conference, or used to have a yearly conference in Austin, Texas, where they invited everybody with Morgellons or anybody who wanted to learn about it to come and sit in, you know. I would never go. I would not ever go, okay, because I know that I have given it to other people, and it's a terrible thing. So that's number one. Number two, if you read Dr. Saverly's book, Morgellons, The Legitimization of a Disease, in one of the sections in there, she states that anybody who claims you need to disinfect your environment and sell you disinfecting products is a charlatan. I think she says that word. All right. Well, we have a big difference, okay? Like I said, they don't care. You go to Austin, Texas, sit in all the same seats and not disinfected. I don't think you're going to find one person on this call that's going to tell you that disinfection isn't important. No. So personally, Robin, Mary, everybody on this call will tell you it's important to disinfect them and get them out of your environment. So there's a second big difference. They're on that planet. Now, maybe when you are on their medications and their strong antibiotics, as I went on for 6 months, maybe the environment is of no issue. Okay? Maybe that's why they're thinking you don't need to disinfect. So maybe they need to say, well, when you're on our strong antibiotics, disinfection isn't important. I don't know, but that hasn't been clarified. It simply stated that disinfection isn't important. The second, the doctors they promote to treat Morgellons, they treat it as Lyme disease. All right, so they are LLMD, Lyme literate medical doctors, and treat Morgellons as Lyme disease using a rotation of different antibiotics. When I went through, it was Bactrim, Biaxin, and Zithromax were the 3 antibiotics, along with an antifungal to keep Candida overgrowth from happening, because all these antibiotics kill the natural bacteria, the healthy bacteria in your gut. So personally, I look at Lyme disease as one of the cofactors, not it as Morgellons, all right? In their own research that's published by Strickler and Marianne Middleveen, they find that 90% of the people with Morgellons have Lyme disease, not 100%. 90% have one of 2 spirochetes associated with Lyme disease, all right? So there's another difference. It's a cofactor, not to be treated as Morgellons. They ignore the possibility of being infected with columbella or mites. In fact, in Dr. Saverly's book, I think she has one sentence about columbella. It's a myth. That's the point. Columbella springtails being infected is a myth. All right, 2 different planets. I dealt with columbella. 90% of the people that I work with are dealing with columbella, springtails. You feel them around your ankles. They're like fleas. I mean, 20 years ago, I remember there was an infestation of fleas around my property. I walk in the house and I feel itching all around my ankles. I look down, I see little black things on my ankles are jumping off, and that's fleas. All right, they can jump. Well, with columbella, it's very much the same thing, except you don't see them. They're basically invisible to the naked eye. They spring. They're called springtails. And the research back in 1959 or 56 by the Swedish study, they found springtails affecting people in Sweden. And in 2002, the National Morgellons Society did a project where they found 19 out of 20 people, 19 out of 21 people who were diagnosed as delusions of parasites. Now, this was even before the word Morgellons was coined, but they found 19 out of 22, I believe, had springtails, were infestation of columbella. All right, so unfortunately, there's no research done in this area, and none of it being sponsored. But again, the Charles Holman Association says it's a myth. So we're on a different planet. They're very real. They don't even talk about mites, the possibility of mites infecting the skin. And of the 40,000 different species of mites that are noted in Encyclopedia Britannica, there are a few of them that seem to like us. And bird mites, rat mites, the red mite, chiggers, the different, and you can get, I guess you can send samples to vet DNA and have them identified if you need it for any legal issues like suing the apartment complex or something because they have an infestation of organisms. Now, the next difference, the research they publish is contradictory to the treatments that the doctors they have recommended. The treatment, as I noticed, that by the LLMDs, the people who are listed in Chapter 6 of the book, Dr. Savely, Dr. Cornish, Dr. Bransfield, and there are others, use antibiotics, all right, long term, 6 months or more. Their own research done by Strickler and Marianne Middleveen says that antibiotics don't work long term with Lyme disease. I mean, they're all two different planets themselves there. Why do so you get temporary help, I guess, only get after you have ruined your gut with, by the way, we do use antibiotics. We use allicin. According to to Wikipedia, not my claim, but Wikipedia says it's a natural antibiotic, antiviral, anti-protozoan, and anti-parasitic. Okay, that's what Wikipedia says. We use it. It's not an astringent type of antibiotic. It doesn't destroy the gut flora like the other antibiotics do, but we get results. All right, so it's not that we shouldn't use antibiotics. We need to be careful about the type of antibiotic that we are using. Now, they say eat healthy. When I don't know, but I imagine they cringe when they hear about the word king diet, like you've got to be so precise, I imagine they cringe. But the bottom line is eating healthy isn't going to do it. All right. As I noted before, olive oil is healthy and is going to feed these buggers. So it doesn't. So my approach is eat healthy, but make the king diet work. When you make the king diet work, you're well on your way to getting your life back. So my take is we are on two different planets. Not that I matter that much, because who am I? I'm just a chemical engineer who had experience and figured out a way to get my life back, figured out what the diet works. No, that's it. I have no training. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a laboratory expert. I'm not in, people send me all these pictures of using these microscopes and the pictures they take on with these Amazon devices, big deal. Means nothing. Means nothing. Okay. All right. So, personally, I said ivory towers with them. Dr. Saverly herself in her book says that it's not contagious, and her reasoning is because she's been working, she's a wonderful person. I'm not here to put her down or to disparage her in any way, shape, or form, all right? And her book is important, that we get it out to other the professionals, that they should read it to legitimize Morgellons, because it is a legitimate disease and it's not being recognized by the CDC. So in no way am I saying any of this to disparage her, but to question some of the things that she says in her book. And that is, if Morgellons was contagious, she basically says, I would have it because I've been working with Morgellons patients for 30 years, or whatever that term is. And again, my point is, she's lucky. She's got the pheromones that don't attract these organisms, apparently, or whatever. I don't know what it is, but not everybody is susceptible to it, whether it's 1 in 10 or 1 in 200, we don't know. But by saying it's not contagious because I haven't contracted it, that is not a scientific statement. Okay, so being in the trenches, I have personally been experiencing with columbola, I don't know which it is, skin fungus, burning, that I felt like my skin was going to be peeled off to that degree. The columbola would wake me up at 3 a.m. and in my private parts and my back, my head, driving me nuts. Mites, I had these little black things coming out around my eyes, and falling off. When I had, in the beginning, if I stood in the sunlight, my skin would sparkle like I was a Christmas tree all over, with, I presume, the eggs of them. Morgellons, to the point, within 2 days, the lesion was like a half-inch deep, growing filaments and fibers. Chronic Lyme disease to the point where my knee was inflamed 150%. I couldn't drive an automobile. I couldn't even write my name. My handwriting, my motor skill was gone. Strongyloides. Heck, I don't even know what was going on with that. And even hot tub rash. I've been in the trench, and I'm here, and I can eat anything I want. I can go anywhere I want, and I'm free to live my life. And many people have achieved the same. So that's the difference between the Charles Hallman Association and our approach, my approach. Anybody else with a question? This turned out to be a longer today than I anticipated. Yes.
Hello, is it Anna from Georgia?
Hi, Anna.
Hi, thank you so much. You are angels. So grateful, as always, for your being here and supporting us. Yeah, I have a few questions. You can, help me, whatever your capacity is here. I'm confused about collagen. I know you had it in your store, and it's marketed a lot, and can that, feed those who unfortunately have the springtails? It's confusing about that.
All right, that's a very good question. It's not an issue with springtails. The filaments of Morgellons are comprised of collagen and keratin. Mm-hmm. So what that means is that whatever the organism is that creates these filaments, it's pulling collagen from your body. It also creates to a deficiency of iron. So that doesn't mean just because you have Morgellons that you don't want to take iron supplements or that you don't want to take collagen, because it's consuming these things, it's taking them. So if you don't supplement your collagen, if you don't supplement your iron, all that means is you're going to become more and more and more deficient. And your skin is going to pay the price and get wrinkly and ugly, and you're going to become iron deficient. So now the collagen we have in our store, it has 5 different types of collagen, which they claim is important, other than 1 or 2 types of collagen. I don't remember what they are, but if you go into the store, you can read about the different types of collagen. So it's important to supplement collagen, and it's important to supplement the minerals, and particularly the iron, as is depleted by the filaments and fibers that are created. Okay, next question.
Okay, the other question is, what's marketed a lot too is colostrum. I know that's not in your store. I'm just wondering, if you have any take on that, colostrum for the immune system.
I'd have to look it up. There are different ways of skinning the cat. If you read my book, you'll see that, okay, bentonite clay, people use it. Well, I go the route of diatomaceous earth. Bentonite clay has benefits, but I find that diatomaceous earth would be preferred over bentonite clay. But it's not to say that you shouldn't use bentonite clay. It may be beneficial for you. So I don't know about colostrum. I'd have to look it up and read about it and see, because the bottom line is whatever it is. For instance, you see this guy on TV selling his little capsules of omega-3s from the mussels in Zealand that are high quality, and it reduces inflammation. It talks about getting rid of pain and all this stuff. Well, this is all wonderful. The omega-3s, but omega-3s, I don't have absolute proof, but I suspect that taking these omega-3s are actually going to be feeding these organisms, just like using olive oil, okay? Going to feed the organisms. But if you look at boosting glutathione, which I am a huge proponent, it does everything that the omega-3s do. By boosting glutathione, you're going to get all the results. It's an anti-inflammatory, the pain, like for instance, many people who write in the questionnaire, they have fibromyalgia, joint pains. All this is going to be diminished by boosting glutathione. So there are different ways of skinning the cat, as I've noted. And so I don't suspect that we're missing anything by not having colostrum. I think we have the bases covered. But I'll look at it, and I'll take a look at it and see if there's some additional benefit.
Okay, I'm in gratitude. The other quick question is about Rife machine. I know you mentioned it, and I'm just wondering, there's a lot of folks who say that the frequencies have helped them. It is a little complicated. I guess there's different versions of the Rife machine, and it's very pricey. I'm just wondering if you have a take on that. And I also heard online or saw online that if you use it incorrectly, it can go against you. If you're not sure of what you're doing, and it could be more of a problem with the frequencies. But I'm just thinking that, in my way of thinking, again, I'm not skilled in this like you are, but that we're dealing with frequencies here, and depends upon what one wants to believe. But
I'm not an expert on the rifing machine. All the frequencies are given. Not to say that there aren't others in the book. You use those frequencies. I would say Robin has more experience with the rifing or the spooky 2 than I do, and I'll let her address this issue.
Okay, I just wanted to say one thing about bentonite clay first. I have used bentonite clay as a face mask. When my face was really infested, I would use it. You just wet it, you make a paste, and you stick it on your face. It dries, you wash it off. And I would do that like 3 or 4 times a day, and within less than a week, my face cleared up.
Thank you for sharing.
So that's a benefit of bentonite clay. I'm not talking about the people who ingest it. I just used it as a mask. Yeah, I love Rife machines. I have a Spooky 2 Rife machine. They have a starter thing that is not that expensive, relatively speaking, and they come with the frequencies. I mean, I don't think there's a question that it's not a matter of belief. Everything emits a frequency. When an opera singer sings a high note and shatters a glass, they matched the frequency of that glass. Mm-hmm. And it has been proven that frequencies can kill things. I use frequencies to kill mites in my home by collecting samples with DNA. And that the protocol for Morgellons with a Spooky 2 Rife machine takes over a year. It starts with a very intense detox, and it is complicated, but there's lots of directions and training online. So if you want to go, and it also helped me recover from COVID. I ran a lot of frequencies for that. So, I mean, I use my Rife machine daily, mostly for actually killing bugs in my house, which it does a really good job of. It's just I have a lot of them. But yeah, I don't think it's a matter of belief. It's a fact that it works. It's just how you're going to use it, and if you're willing to dig into the learning curve. I have never heard of anyone using it. Originally, a long time ago, Rife machines, they could damage you. They could do more hurt than good, and I don't think that's any longer the case with newer ones. The way they work, you can do it remotely, which is less intense. You can do it with physical contact. You can do a combination of the two. There's a lot of ways to do it where it's not going to be harmful at all, but you have to do your research.
Okay, thank you so much. You're so helpful and so bright. I appreciate it.
I mean, you can go on YouTube and not YouTube, but you can go on Facebook and you'll see people say ozone doesn't work, Well, it doesn't work because they don't know how to make it work. Right. Ozone does work, but you got to do it for 21 days straight. You got to maybe set up several machines. You got to get into your air ducts and all kinds of things. So It's a lot of work. It's cumbersome. And so you may find that rifing is cumbersome. There's easier ways to skin the cat.
There is a lot of YouTube. Just look up Spooky 2 Rife on YouTube. You'll see all kinds of informational videos and free stuff.
Yeah, they'll even have the frequencies on there.
They have some frequencies that you can just play on your computer.
Right. So
that's amazing. Thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask another quick question real quickly about the beeswax that you prefer over the Vaseline to apply to one's hairline and around ears? I'm a little confused about how to use that.
Well, you want to apply it as a barrier so that nothing can crawl through it to infest another place, so they can't escape. You're setting up like a moat.
Okay, does it come like soft, like a liquid? I mean, does it harden after? I haven't ever been exposed to that.
Beeswax is like a hardened wax, and you kind of rub it in.
Oh, okay, like a wax. Okay, so you just rub it in. All right, yeah, I was a little I wasn't really sure. And also about the limonene with the essential oils. How do you feel about the orange oil? Versus you mentioned lemon and lime oil to ingest, the lemon or lime, but what about the essential oil of
orange? I wouldn't ingest orange oil. I don't think it's helpful.
Okay, what about using it environmentally, orange oil, or along with lemon and lime?
I don't think it kills anything.
Okay.
I mean, lemon oil, peppermint oil, these oils actually can push things away or kill them. They hate peppermint oil, for one.
Right.
Clove oil is great for mice.
Clove oil, yeah. But orange oil, not so much. It's good in baking if you're on stage 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.